March 2021. For those of you who are new, a very warm welcome. I'm a psychic medium. I cover the astrology. I do chakra reports, moon energy, and more. If you do want a booking, you can go to the link below. I'm a bit distorted here with the colour. Turn it around a bit and maybe it'll be better. During this, I'll give you the channeled messages. I'll cover the astrology and I'll see the things that are coming up for you, providing I can see. How are we all doing? It's interesting. This light highlights the charts, which is unique. How are we all doing? I'll wait for some people to connect. Now, if you do need a booking, as I mentioned, I still have the weekends open. Next week is filling up fast. And we will have super chats at the end of each video. I've got about 7 videos to do today. So it will be super chat only questions due to the fact that I have time restraints, unfortunately. So apologies ahead of time, but it's the way it is at the moment. Now, Leo, let's have a look at yours. Now, you guys have almost felt like you've been through a Venus retrograde. And it is because Aquarius was in your 7th house. So, you know, from your relationship sector all the way through to your work domain, and are you on path? Are you doing the right things? People point blank zero may have been causing a bit of dramas for you. It could have even been in your environment, because we had in about from the 30th, I believe, of January, we already well and truly mid-month had the shadow energy of Mercury going retrograde in your Venus house. So to a degree, because we had it through February in Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, we're still in shadow until the 13th. So you can be feeling the aftermath of that effect, which can be quite emotional. Now, we've had the Virgo full moon, which we've moved away from, but we're still embodying, even though the moon is transiting, until we move to the new moon in Pisces. Now, for you guys, let's have a look at your chart. Some things to a spiritual degree might have been a one-sided transaction. Some things to a degree, it may be that you had to provide for yourself, or you may have needed somebody else to help you in that circumstance. Now, I do feel, you know, with your contracts, you might be looking at creating stability. So a lot of your actions that you're taking, especially since we've had Mars shift on the 5th from Taurus over to Gemini. Gemini for you guys lands in your 11th house, which is quite a good place for it to be. But you do need to be careful of expenses. And what do I mean by that? So Mars being there, it can be a social month for you. It can be that you're wanting to do things that make you feel happy. We do need to be careful of overindulgence. You can't make this up. Good God. Okay, I'm back again. I'll have to call my mother back in a minute. Now, so from added expenses, you'll find that you will have increased income coming through. Some of you are trying to work out what you can do in your daily routine, your actions, but you do need to be careful of added expenses that are completely in your control. So it might be pastimes, it might be getting your nails done and things like that, but it's more, you know, hobbies, hopes, dreams, outings. And this can become, as we move towards the new moon in Pisces, it can become more social. So you may find that you're tapping into things that makes you feel nice, but it can be from a higher octane with the spiritual energy for you, Leo, that you're wanting to actually indulge in that and look after yourself. Now, some of you are looking at diet, health, and nutrition and wanting to change that up a bit. And Mars and Taurus was causing a lot of us to either go off food, maybe eat on the run, get to a point that we were feeling quite sluggish and unmotivated due to the fact that it was Mercury retrograde. Now, as it moves forward, you may find that your diet can get back in order. You're also going to find with some food groups that maybe, you know, are they to the detriment to your health? With the 8th house, it will link very closely to your health house. That you're needing to change things up that are going to be good for you. What's nutritious, what's working for you. And it can even be from a, how do I put it? Like certain food groups may not be working for you at the moment. It can be due to nervous energy, and it can be that you're going off your food. Now, as it moves towards Gemini, I do see increased energy of exercise for you, Leo. So I do see it to be more active. But you're also going to find with your 5th house of children. You know, there can be a lot of changes happening if you have children, where they're growing, they're changing, their needs are maybe not getting met, and it's not through your direct actions. It's more that energetically point blank, sorry, they're transforming and changing. So it can be very testing on you to a degree through that domain. But you will find that that should start plateauing out and it should ease out. Now, with your relationship sector, and I'm just going to go, we're going to go relationship, work, money, family, and unseen. Number 1, relationships, I do feel from the 13th should start panning out. I also feel that with Venus transiting Pisces, it can be where you can deepen connections. It also can be a little bit testing if you feel that connection is on the rocks. So at an emotional level, the new moon in Pisces can usher that new beginning in. But it also can be a reset for you spiritually, where you're wanting to have something more balanced in nature. If you feel you need to let something go, I do feel from a spiritual point of view, you might be looking at where life has been hindering you, where potentially you had a value system that hadn't been met. And I do see that shifting and new beginnings coming in. Some of you, you know, you do really need to be careful this year because there is fertility energy around you, but it's going to be different and will be growth in your career sector. I'm also seeing as we have Venus transit into Aries, some of you may actually have an opportunity to move. Now, it may be that you have different value systems. It might be that a relationship is taken to the next level. It also can be very psychic in nature, but you do need to pay attention to the wounds. Now, why I say that is because we do have Aries and Chiron, and that can be there for a little bit, which can be more passionate, but you will find that you'll be more direct. If you're dealing with people either at work, in love, I can see a feisty Leo coming through. I also can feel that you're wanting to, you know, change the way you're showing up in the world, change the way that you're viewing things. But it's also, if people are trying to push that onto you, I feel that that can be a little bit tedious for you at the moment, and you may be more direct in your communication with those individuals. But I do feel you are sort of burning at all, you know, with all pistons, so to speak. So you do need to really gauge that energy that you're putting in, that you don't have that burnout mode. The burnout can come from doing too much and people not helping you. And I really see with the 8th house that really may be the case. Now, by the time we have the full moon in Libra, pay attention to car services and anything that needs doing. We will be out of the shadow energy of Mercury, but because we have the North Node in Gemini, we do need to pay attention while we're traveling on the road. Some of you may be looking at, could be changing insurance policies. It might be the communication that you have coming through, that you have some word about a situation that can tie up loose ends, but that of what you're wanting, I feel at a level, especially in the communication front, I really see you communicating very directly with individuals. And it's almost like if you're needing to speak to someone about things in the past and get to a point where you're airing the laundry, it's really you're communicating for a purpose. So I see you really trying to you know, more than willing to come to a compromise, providing other individuals in your life are willing to do that. Now, with your work front, if there has been some stagnation, I do see in the weeks coming that should be eased, but definitely through that retrograde cycle, I feel as though there have been some clues as to what you need to shift about. Now, yes, very separately, I do coaching linked to career sector, especially if you want to come through and look at the astrology, look at, you know, time frames of launching, ways in which you can develop it with your astrology chart, you know, when these things are more productive to a degree. I do see with your hopes and dreams and aspirations, if you shift the focus onto that, you're going to be able to achieve these things. And it's what I'm hearing is short-term pain for long-term gain. So some of these sacrifices that you make, maybe some of you have made a lot of sacrifice. And I always say that many times It's not necessarily you're moving backwards, you're moving forwards, and that what you end up getting is so much more each time, especially when that second house is activating. You did have the full moon in Virgo in your second house. So by looking at things and moving them about, I do feel you'll find a very creative way to actually generate cash and manage situations. So your mind may be very nervous on it at the moment through till the new moon in Pisces, but after that I feel you would have summed that information up and you'll know what to do with it moving forward. And I do feel your analytical skills are going to aid you to bridge the gap. Let's look at home. Okay, something in the home front's changing. Now, you know, you need to have an environment that feels quite spiritual. You need to have privacy. You need to have security. And I feel as though many of you are looking at the long-term goal relating to that. Now, if your environment is stable and loving and nurturing and it's providing all the things that you need, I feel you'll remain there. But I do also see that there could be circumstances where you're wanting to be more private at the moment, and you want to have a separation between work and home. You know, some of us are working from home, so it does make it a little bit complicated, but you also require, you really need to have a scarred space, somewhere that you can feel you can be yourself. And that may be even around family at the moment, that you're directly feeling you need some time to be yourself. Let's see what else is coming up. Now, to do with your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, I'm really feeling anywhere in between. Let's have a look. Complications on the 5th, maybe, which is today. Difficulties in being able to have a bit of freedom, potentially. Needing to do something that, how can I put it? Needing to do something that is going to give you spiritual peace. And maybe you're doing a little bit too much and you're feeling a bit worn out. You know, third eye activation, very worn out. But maybe you don't have a solution right now how to achieve some of these things. And as I mentioned, when we do reach, you know, the end stage of shadow with Mercury and we have that new moon, I feel the clarity is coming through because we're having conjunctions occurring on that day. We're having Venus and Pisces, which is very much your 8th house, making a conjunction to Neptune and Pisces. So I do feel connected to partnerships, contracts, documentation. You know, follow through with those things. Follow your intuition. Look at what you're needing to let go of. Look at what you're needing to change up. Address and assess that foundation. And especially when it comes to the bigger picture of things, I do feel it'll help you move forward. Anything else I need to tell you? So we've covered work. Work, you could get some bonuses coming through this month as well. And also, don't be afraid to ask for help, especially if you're struggling. So be it it's communicating with your partner involved, or it's your work colleagues or friends, don't be too fearful to actually ask for help, because you could be embodying the Virgo energy a little bit too much, where you're feeling it's all on you, especially from the 2nd house. But between the 2nd house, the 7th house, and the 11th, you have gorgeous aspects, which does mean to have confidence in yourself, because I really think a lot of things romantic and co-creative are coming down to you, but not from it's a you problem issue, but more from an aspect of physical luck and transformation. Now, family. We'll quickly look at family, and I'll see if there's anything else I need to warn you about. Probably the Cancer, Mars and Cancer. Family. I think some of you are wanting a larger home. Some of you are wanting to know how you can change that, how you can grow with it. Some of you may be outgrowing your home. Some of you, I feel there can be value systems within the home environment that differ. Some of you also, there could be a dynamic connecting to a child with education and something changing in that domain. And definitely diet related, I would say caution with things that you need to let go of, you know, really pulling the, you know, grabbing the bull by the horns and changing those things. Now, I'm also seeing towards the end of March, moving towards April, we pretty much have until April the 23rd, with Mars in Gemini, which will really help with your creative endeavors and your hopes and dreams. So it's really using the energy to pour it into those areas so that whatever that foundational situation is for you, you're going to have the flow-on effect that's going to be quite positive and lucrative. And many of you could potentially even run businesses from home, spiritual situations, coaching. But I do feel environment's going to be very important for your vibration at the moment. Now, as we move towards April 23rd, we are having Mars transit into Cancer. And this is where if the environment as per se between family, your direct relationship, your work environment, if you're currently working from home, it's almost like bringing work home, you know, bringing dramas home or taking it to work. Because we have Cancer there in your 12th house, the zodiac sign, it's not really its most beautiful element of where it should be. You may find conflict can arise from family, from feminine energies, wounds relating to co-creative energy, and again, inflammation. Now, when I say that, if you're in an environment that you feel is psychologically distorting, you're better to address it and acknowledge it by the 13th and start taking direct steps. If you leave it to the last hour, which is you pretty much got this month through to April the 23rd, it can be very toxic when we enter that transit. So we're going to have to be pretty grounded, very mature in the way we deal with situations. We won't be able to really sweep it under the carpet because there can potentially be more outbursts verbally, and that can be in families, connections, work domains, where a lot of nervous system and energy and emotions can be spewing to the top. So pre-warned, forearmed. I'll leave it to that for you guys. Very good time at the moment to get into alignment. Look at your schedule, look at your routine and shift it about. Major decisions can be made via the 13th and beyond. And then when we have Venus move into Aries, just looking at the paperwork and, you know, documentation, talking through situations, seeing people's viewpoints, and definitely development through your career at the moment. Okay, Leo? Any quick questions in the house for Super Chat? Otherwise, I will have a quick break and come back for the next one. Who are we going to do next? Aries or Sagittarius? Aries chart's looking interesting. Any questions? Gosh, the way I'm going, it's 12:15 here. Oh, Aries is in the thick of it. Okay. Okay, guys, I shall be back. I'll be back.